Hello, it's Dean here. I'd like to take you through some slides and just make some very quick and general comments around attractant hopping, which is likely to be one of the key tactics available to you in rangeland self-herding. And it's likely to be something you'll consider where you would like to entice and influence the movement of animals across the landscape. It might, for example, be from one water that they're currently focusing their time around to a new water, or it might be to extend their grazing from an area that they're spending a lot of time in to a patch that's currently underutilised. The basis around attractant hopping is the use of attractant troughs and the jackpot procedure to reinforce the strength of the positive rewards. The attractant troughs are paired with some kind of visual, sight, sound or touch cue. An attractant coat hanger is ideal here, and that's represented by the triangle in this diagram. So the attractant troughs are clearly demarcated to the animals through the use of the attractant coat hanger. And of course the jackpots are strongly cued with the sound of the referee's whistle. So the troughs are first positioned in an area that's familiar to the animals. Very important to build their familiarity around the troughs and the cues and the procedures whilst they're in a familiar environment. It will occur much more quickly, and then when the attractants are moved through the landscape, what you're effectively able to do is move familiar furniture with them through new parts of the landscape. It has a major influence on their willingness to explore new areas. So the attractant troughs are spaced far enough apart so bossy animals won't dominate all of the troughs, but how far you spread them out is entirely up to you. The attractant coat hanger or similar is positioned nearby, hanging on a tree or on a post. And the jackpot is offered as frequently as is appropriate and convenient for you. It doesn't have to be on every occasion, it's entirely up to you. 3 loud blows of the whistle and the jackpot's offered either in a trough or on the ground. After the jackpot's offered, we really encourage you to spend some time around there so the animals are seeing you as well as the nutritional rewards, and that very quickly changes their behaviour because all they're experiencing is positive signals and positive outcomes. Basically, the procedure is then moving those attractants and the jackpots in the planned progression through the landscape from one area to the next. You might need to start with quite small hops to be sure that the animals are following the attractants and the jackpots. It's your call at the time as to how far you can go, but start small and work up to larger distances as you feel comfortable. If you go too far, you'll soon realise and you might need to back off to re-engage the animals to an area in which they're familiar. When you do move the troughs and the jackpots, we strongly suggest that you alter the order, the sequence of the 3 troughs and the jackpots, because when animals are familiar with it, then that little bit of variety of where they're positioned helps maintain interest and exploration, because they want to know what's going on and will come up and have a look, and that's exactly what you want them to be doing. So it's really at a time that suits you and at a distance that you think is appropriate, then moving the attractants and the nutritional rewards through the landscape, wherever you choose to also be paired with the jackpot to build up the strength of the signals and the reward that the animals are achieving. The distance you use and the signals that you're associating with the attractant troughs is very much a consequence of the response of the animals and the type of landscape you're in, whether it's woody, shrubby country or open country. The intention with attractant hopping is to influence a reasonable portion of the animals and not expect to get 100% following in a single mob tightly around the attractant troughs. That's not what this is about. Here we're talking around enticing animals through positive reward from one location to another, bit by bit, as their confidence into each new area builds. We've seen with GPS tracking of animals that in some individuals will want to return to their previous location before then continuing on towards the intended destination. It's a very different outcome and result when animals are allowed to express that choice than being forced from one area to the next. It becomes built into their positive grazing culture, and their willingness to move into new areas thereafter is much more likely to be positively rewarded. So that's a quick overview. Love to talk to you about it some more if you like. Until then, bye for now.